How's it going, everyone? So we're back with a new video to update you guys on the case revolving around Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. In my last video, I had briefly touched base with you guys on some new details that had involved remains being found, as well as belongings of Brian Laundrie being found as well. And while many of us had the speculation and the thought that the remains belonged to Brian Laundrie, there was not official confirmation until now. Brian Laundrie's remains found in Florida Park, FBI confirms. The New York Post. Brian Laundrie's remains were found at a marshy nature reserve near his parents' Florida home, the FBI confirmed on Thursday, bringing an end to the 6-week saga surrounding the disappearance and death of Long Island native Gabby Petito. The FBI said it used dental records to confirm that the skeletal remains found at the 25,000-acre Carlton Reserve in Sarasota County on Wednesday belonged to Laundrie, 23, the sole person of interest in the high-profile disappearance and death of his 22-year-old girlfriend. Laundrie's remains were found about a 40-minute walk from the Creek Environmental Park, with a name I can't even bother trying to pronounce, into the reserve. Northport Police spokesperson Josh Taylor told the Post. Laundrie's parents had said their son went for a hike in the reserve on September 13th and never returned. Taylor said the remains found early Wednesday with a backpack and a notebook belonging to Laundrie consisted primarily of bones after weeks of decay and exposure to wildlife. Authorities and locals alike said Laundrie would have been hard-pressed to survive for long in the hostile conditions, and his body would have likely been ravaged by the elements and wildlife. I walk there all the time, and there won't be much of the remains left, said area resident John Widman. There's alligators, but the worst thing are the wild pigs. They're evil animals and will eat anything. Lee County, Florida Sheriff Carmine Marceno, whose deputies took part in the search, said they had to navigate through chest-deep waters. Cops said Laundrie's body had been submerged for weeks after heavy rains flooded parts of the park last month, and that it was exposed as the waters receded in recent weeks. The waters made it difficult for cadaver dogs to sniff out decaying remains, experts said. The problem is people don't understand that dogs are not body finders, they are odor hunters, said Michael Hadsell, who wasn't involved in the search for Laundrie but had assisted in searches at the Creek Environmental Park, with a name again I can't pronounce, as president of the Peace River Canine Search and Rescue. In this case, the search conditions that they were in initially were really bad, so the probability was more in the 20% success rate because there was water in the area. The FBI had led a massive manhunt for Laundrie since his parents reported him missing on September 17th, 2 days before Petito's body was found at a remote Wyoming campground. The young couple had been on a cross-country trip out west to visit national parks. The discovery of Laundrie's remains came after his parents were summoned to the Creek Environmental Park early Wednesday, where family attorney Steve Bertolino had confirmed that some articles belonging to Brian had been found. Chris and Roberta Laundrie have been informed that the remains found yesterday in the reserve are indeed Brian's, Bertolino said in a statement Thursday. We have no further comment at this time. Taylor, the police spokesperson, said Laundrie had parked his family's Ford Mustang at the park on September 13th and walked into the adjoining Carlton Reserve. While Thursday's confirmation concludes one aspect of the cross-country investigation, it does little to answer the many questions that remain about Petito's fate, including Laundrie's culpability in her death, what his parents knew and when, why authorities didn't keep a closer watch on him, and whether he left any clues to what happened. Petito disappeared in late August, and Laundrie was sought for questioning after she was reported missing to Suffolk County, New York, cops on September 11th by her family. Petito was last seen alive with Laundrie on August 27th when witnesses said he became aggressive with a staff at a Wyoming restaurant before returning and apologizing. After returning home to Northport alone in her van on September 1st, Laundrie lawyered up and refused to cooperate with investigators. He fled into the park without revealing to authorities any details of Petito's fate. The FBI and local law enforcement had followed up on dozens of tips that Laundrie had been spotted as far north as the Appalachian Trail near the North Carolina/Tennessee border. Laundrie had not been charged in Petito's death, but was named on a federal fraud warrant out of Wyoming for allegedly using her debit card to charge more than $1,000 during his drive home to Florida. His parents, meanwhile, have come under scrutiny by protesters and internet sleuths who contend they withheld information on their son's flight from justice. Jane Kornberger, who knew Petito from her job at a local Publix supermarket, said the community was reeling from her death, recalling her as a lively kid. "I've cried many tears about what happened to her, believe me," said Kornberger, who had Petito's "Let It Be" mantra tattooed on her arm. "The Laundrie family has been appalling in their behavior," she said. "They should have been telling everything they knew to detectives from the first second, and they should have been out every day searching for their son. Local people are appalled by how they behaved," she added. Now, the title of this article pretty much sums up the entirety of my thoughts on this update in regards to the Gabby Petito Brian Laundrie case. Brian Laundrie's death may rob Gabby Petito's family of closure. And that's just it. With this situation now taking place and with this update now being a thing, the friends and the family of Gabby Petito may never truly get the answers and the closure they need when it comes to the loss of Gabby Petito. And I've said this a few times before, but I will say it again because it applies. I will live and die by the sword of innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. That right there is objective. But if I can be afforded to, here's my personal take on this. I personally thought that Brian Laundrie was guilty, or at least heavily suspicious, in the disappearance and homicide of Gabby Petito. And yes, I said it, homicide. Her death was confirmed to be a homicide via strangulation. Not to mention as well, he ended up arriving back home by himself without Gabby in her van, and when she was reported missing, he not only lawyers up, but is completely uncooperative when it comes to the investigation and the search of Gabby Petito. Not to mention his parents as well seemingly aided and abetted and protected Brian Laundrie and didn't help out with the investigation either. And also, he ended up disappearing, as well as being served an arrest warrant on a federal indictment when it comes to fraud of $1,000 from Gabby Petito's debit card. So all of that adds up to something that is very, very, very suspicious and very concerning. Now, unfortunately, because of Brian Laundrie's death now being confirmed, the friends and the family of Gabby Petito are never ever truly going to get the answers and the closure they need as to what truly happened to Gabby Petito. They are never going to be able to get the 100% truth, and it's very, very unfortunate, and it's a very sad ending in this situation. So there's not really much else I can say here in this situation, but if there is an update to be had, I will do my best to keep you guys posted. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it here for this video. So I want to say thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for your time as well. Have yourself a damn good one, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.